So the original video has been removed, and I tried to resolve it, didn't work, she didn't answer, and you're gone now, so let's just hope this one stays up. Thank you for watching. The video is for educational purposes only, and also I want to apologize because I do have a speech impediment, but I tried my best. Also, don't be afraid, I am just a drawing. Welcome back to the torture chamber. I'm your executioner, depraved darling. Today's topic is the black contact archetype. I'm sure you've seen the videos circulating around the internet about racist or being betrayed, sick and cute, etc. going around, and I wanted to delve further into how this archetype came to be because it's not just her. It appears to be a pandemic that is affecting teenage girls. The 2020s, what a time to be alive. TikTok was thriving, with that came new subcultures. Gen Z were all about bunny hats, fishnets, leg warmers, Hello Kitty, Monster energy drinks, thick winged eyeliner, oversaturated pics, anime, 100 gex, and Clark's husband. Now the subculture that really defined 2020 were the e-girls. E-girls are young women who are active online, often on social media, and who are associated with alternative, often emo-inspired aesthetic, and frequently a fan of anime and gaming. Though the aesthetic has been popularized on TikTok, Vogue Australia notes that e-girls often trace the roots of their trend to Harajuku goth style, a Tokyo-born street style that contrasts the hallmarks of goth. Fishnets, a dark palette, heavy distressing, with doll-like makeup splashes of pastel. Doll-like makeup, does that sound familiar? Remember that. Here are some examples I have found on Pinterest. Now let's go back to the topic of e-girl makeup. As I mentioned previously, e-girl makeup often consisted of heavy wing liner, tons of blush on the nose and cheeks with, of course, black hearts, a bright highlight on the nose and corner of the eyes, black contacts to get that doll-like effect, accompanied by lashes on both the top lid and bottom. "2020 felt somewhat apocalyptic. During the pandemic, there was a cultural shift online. Since people were confined to their homes, they were forced to confront the question, who am I and what do I believe in? George Floyd's murder was an awakening for many. Gen Z in particular took charge, proudly aligning with the side of justice and fighting against inequality. A lot of e-girls or alternative kids at the time agreed with the sentiment of ACAB, all cops are bastards. However, what was powerful at the time later became a meme. Another popular thing on TikTok was anime talk. Anime talk rose to popularity, with many teenagers feeling a connection to these 2D characters.
Stranger. Fucking superstars, feeling like a pop star.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Of course, you can't forget the resurgence of the anime Nana, who further helped popularize the alternative aesthetic. And of course, we can't forget the gamer girl. I want to preface this by saying that I don't know much about gaming except for Call of Duty and Roblox, but Roblox has to do with the main topics, and there are two games in particular I want to talk about: The Hood and Dollhouse Roleplay. With the popularization of Japanese media along with the style, the line between admiration and imitation began to blur, and with that comes the term Asian fishing. Now, I don't necessarily agree with the diagram, however, there's a pattern with people who wear black contacts and do the so-called dolly makeup. They always have this anime-esque aesthetic going on, which implies a connection to Asian culture, more specifically Japanese. And you may be asking yourself, what does this have to do with Roblox? Well, don't worry, everything is unfortunately connected. Let's talk about comm girls. A comm girl stands for community girl, and it's a girl or an edgy kid on Discord that extorts people, and yeah. They play dollhouse roleplay, which I previously mentioned, and they basically dox and extort and exploit people. Why? I haven't a clue. Probably for male validation.
Stop. That's not even funny. That's just gross. Get away from me, you freak. Disgusting. Stop talking like that. Break character.
Deleted ASAP.
Your voice is so hot, Daddy. Oh, you're making me really laugh. I
I don't know. People are weird. I mean, you might as well be. Here is my diagram, and it's basically the anatomy of a comm girl or e-girl, whatever you want to call it. And these people always seem to have BPD, they use filters, they Asian fish, they say slurs, and they're in a toxic relationship. Bonus points if with an adult. Because then that feeds into their whole age play thing, and I would like to say there's a link between the infantilization of Asian people and pretending to be Asian, but that's just my opinion. Okay, so we have the exact same look. We have hashtag Roblox, hashtag eGirl, and then it says not in comm. I mean, okay. Then in another picture we have hashtag commgirl. Right. Oh, and of course hashtag doll. Here are some examples of people being aware of this archetype. So there's this website called 4chan, which a lot of e-girls take influence from. It's associated with edgy humor, including the troll face, other wojacks, and really edgy jokes. And a lot of school shooters get their inspiration from here as well and talk about their crimes. And then you have the skull mask wearers. So the skull typically refers to skull and crossbones. During the Nazi era, the SS adopted this image and it became one of the symbols used in concentration camps. So a lot of racist e-girls choose to use it. Oh no, I'm not an ordinary e-girl, I'm a racist e-girl. So here we have the typical black contact e-girl, pigtails, and the troll face along with the skull mask. So we know that she's probably racist or supports Nazi ideologies, and she wants to be Asian. In the back we have a far-right extremist symbol known as the Black Sun. The shirt Natural Selection was worn by Eric Harris, one of the perpetrators of the Columbine High School massacre. So she's a neo-Nazi and supports school shooters. Here are some other e-girls that got quote-unquote canceled for being in some of the same spaces and upholding some of the same ideologies. There's this guy on TikTok called Vamp Daddyevil, and lo and behold, he looks like that. You know, typical skull mask, and yeah. He's a grown man, I believe 29 years old, and has an infatuation with Ray.
About the whole Ray situation, there seems to be a lot of anger, disdain, and misinformation going around everywhere. So I want to go ahead and clear this up. I do not view Ray as a girlfriend. I view her more like a daughter. I view her more like a pet. Daughter. I view her more like a pet.
Here are some of his other posts where he talks about toxic and disturbing things and also being a Nazi. This one, I will admit, is pretty funny because allegedly all the people in this photo are pedophiles. So he's basically insinuating that he is one and Ray is one as well. She has a long list of problematic behaviors, from Nazi salutes to animal abuse to saying a whole lot of slurs. Now, when Ray turned 18, she took it upon herself to make a fansly. This is her further proving the pedophile allegations, and here are the responses from some of the people who have subscribed. And then at the same time, we have Vamp Daddyevil calling her and saying that they're going to meet up, and him continuing to post disturbing TikToks about her. Meanwhile, she is clearly uncomfortable, and they don't even follow each other on any social media, so take that what you will. Anyways, back to him. On Twitter, he's talking about how he dated a 17-year-old at 19, and then how he is obsessive and stalker-ish. Here's a screenshot of him reposting a picture of him pregnant with Ray on his TikTok. There's this post of him saying how he's going to court, and there's also another post of him saying how his ex is missing and he hopes they find her, but like he's saying it in a way that makes it seem like he did it. At the very top of the screenshot, there's a search bar and it says Des Moines, Iowa, which upon further investigation is not a coincidence. On Reddit, people have found his Facebook, and his name is Eric Grayson, and he lives in Iowa according to the screenshot, which shows that he works out at the big house. I wish I could investigate more on his charges, but I don't know how to do that, and I'm pretty sure that Iowa has no public records. Well, the funny thing about both of them is if you go on their TikTok, they have hundreds and thousands of views and little likes, which means that people are watching them, but they don't genuinely care about what they're saying or support their content. In addition, you can also see that there are a lot of shares, which means that people are probably talking about them or laughing about them or just collecting information about him specifically, because it honestly seems like he's going to do something extreme or has done something and is just waiting to be caught. As for Ray, the general public is tired of her. She's gotten banned on multiple accounts, and people are tired of seeing posts about her. And everyone's like, it's sad that she's being bullied and that she made a fansly. And it's like, no, she's not. She ruined her digital footprint and was given multiple opportunities to change and stop being such a disgusting person, and instead flaunts her bad behavior and caters to an audience that will grow bored of her as soon as she ages and moves on to the next teen. So the only people I feel bad for are the ones that have been affected by her behavior.